Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you all are welcome to the Otumba Adams Show. My name is and would always be Adam Solofimilajide, and you guys are welcome specially. This is the episode 149, and it's a pleasure having you guys here today. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope life is treating you well, and your businesses are growing, everything about you is booming, and all is well wherever you are. If this is your first time of being a part of the show, well, my name is Adams. I've already introduced myself. We basically talk about business, talk about entrepreneurship, talk about leadership, we talk about things that you probably need to know. And on this episode, we are looking at the first mover advantage. All right. Now, if you're watching me live right now, because today being the 22nd, 22nd of June 2022. If you're watching me live and you'd like to say hello, just put your name and location in the comment section and I would welcome you specially. All right, so down to business. What is the first mover advantage? Basically, it is your business, right? Being the first in that particular niche, in that industry for to have marketed to a specific audience, right? It's like you're the new thing. It's not like you're the you created something new, right? But you brought in something from another angle, right? Basically, and you are the first in that niche to carve a niche for yourself. Basically, that's basically what it's about. And today we'll be looking at the benefits and also the drawbacks of both. Okay, so why the need, right? Now I'm going to cite some examples before we dive into what we have for today. The first example that I have is here in Nigeria, when the telecommunications company came in, right? When we started using mobile phones, one of the first companies that was the pace setter was Econet, if you can remember, right? That I think that was about 2002 thereabout. I was still in my secondary school, close to leaving secondary school then. They were the first, then followed by MTN, then Globacom, then Etisalat, and then other companies along the line came on. All right. So also in the digital marketing space, one of the pioneers of affiliate marketing in Nigeria right now is what's the word? Expertnear, as we know it. And then we have the likes of LAP, the likes of Seller, trying to do something similar to what Expertnear is doing right now, and so many other companies like that. I'm sure probably in certain products that you use, you'll realize that there are some companies that they were the first to come in, and more often than not, you remember them much more than every other company. All right. So, what are the benefits of being the first mover advantage? Right. What are the benefits of your company rather being the first mover advantage? The first one I have on the list is that your products can become the industry standard, and which is true. If you're the first to enter into a particular niche, you are the first to sell to a particular audience, right? By the time other people will start coming in, people would tend to measure your products as a yardstick for every other product, because they will say that hey, this is how this person does it. How come yours is not like this? How come yours is not like that? Right? They would constantly compare your product with other products. That's one of the beauties of being the first to enter into the industry. All right. The second point that I have here is that you get more brand recognition and customer loyalty. There are some products that growing up, right? I think one of the products in Nigeria that sold so much, that was like a yardstick years back. If you can remember this boxed television, right? The number one TV then was Sanyo, Sanyo, right? That was one that we had in my house, and most homes also had it, and people were loyal to that brand. Another product that I would use is the soap, Joy soap. I know that over the years their marketing had gone down, but there was a time that the Joy brand was the major thing a lot of people were using, the same as toothpaste, right? So also as the Coca-Cola brand, people are loyal to these brands because literally they are the first to enter into such industry, and they have been able to carve a niche for themselves. So also if you have a business as well and you are the first to enter into such business, that's high likelihood that people would stay loyal to you, they'll stay loyal to your business, and you would have that brand recognition because, as I said earlier, you are the industry standard. So basically, when you want to buy a particular product, or when people want to buy products similar to your own products, they would tend to call the name of that product your own product, right? It's like when I was growing up, if you remember, when they send you to the market and then they tell you go and buy Omo, right? Now, you may not exactly be buying the Omo detergent brand, but because the Omo name has become the standard, right? People are loyal to the brand. And even when they are trying to buy replicas of that particular brand, they still call the brand name as that other one. All right. So that's the same way it also works. That like by the time you are the first to enter into a particular industry, you are that yardstick every other person would look up to, right? You have loyalty from your customers. You are that brand name that like everybody's chanting about and talking about every single day. All right. Then the third advantage is that you attract the best brains to work with you. Because when people realize that like, hey, you're the industry standard, people that you would attract will literally be the best because you can easily handpick the best resources, the best people to come work with you because for that niche, you are the industry standard as compared to like if you're just coming up and you're trying to like fight for space within that industry. Then the last advantage that I have here is that if it will cost people so much to switch from you using your brand to another brand, there's going to be this reluctance for people to move away. I'm going to use an example like say you are the industry standard for laptops, right? In Nigeria, when the older generation think about laptops, the first thing that comes to their mind is the HP brand. Now, for you to be able to like move away from HP and then trying to like buy the likes of Compaq, the likes of Dell, the likes of Toshiba, and other brands like that here in Nigeria, right? It is going to be hard because the cost of having to migrate from one brand to another is actually very, very expensive. So you still have that lion's share within that industry. You are dominating it. That's another advantage of you being the first mover. All right, now we're going to be looking at the disadvantages of being the first mover in an industry. All right, the number one that I have here is that like you spend more money convincing customers, especially if it is in a niche that people really do not realize that they need this thing. You have to like do a lot of marketing, like tons of marketing. And the thing is that like the people coming after you would not have to do as much as you have done having to convince people. Now, I'm going to use an example of DMT mobile toilets for you guys. Now, when DMT started, right, they had to go through that process of convincing people because then it was not something that was common in the 90s and early 2000s, right? They had to do tons and tons of marketing. Now, the thing is that like if another brand were to overtake them, right, they would have just done so much work convincing people and the newer brand would take all the profit, would take all the benefits that is there to be taken. All right. So that's one of the disadvantages of being the first mover. The second one is later competitors will easily avoid your mistakes. Yeah. And that is true because as you're the pioneer, you are the first person to come into that industry. A lot of people will realize that, like, wow, this person is making this mistake, is making that mistake. And when they are coming in, they would not come and tell you that, like, hey, you're making this mistake. No, they are going to learn from your mistake and then create something that is not going to make them have or go through that same process that you went through, right? They would lessen the amount of mistake that they have to make, and they would have a smoother journey than you had while coming up. All right. So that's number 2 point. Number 3 point is later entrants can take over. It's basically like similar to you convincing people, and then all of a sudden, the people that come behind you now take over. Now, this one happens when your marketing goes wrong. If your marketing is not right, you're not pushing your brand properly, you're not in the faces of people in the right way, then before you know it, another brand that's coming after you would easily take over. An example of that is MTN, when MTN came into Nigeria. Now, before MTN came, Econet was the first to come into the country, but over time, MTN's marketing strategy was strong enough. They had wider coverage. They were very, very determined to take over. And that actually helped them to have the lion's share. And right now, even though Econet has transitioned to so many names, they are not even the top two in Nigeria as of today, as compared to MTN that came after them, and then like they overthrew Econet to become Nigeria's number one for a number of years. All right. Then the last but not least point that I have here is that later entrants can make products better and cheaper. Now, learning from your mistakes, learning from the things that like you did not do well, right? People can actually like now create a better brand of what you've created, add more value to it, and then lessen the price of that thing that you're actually selling to the people. Right now, when they do that, they are trying to like carve out another angle for themselves, such that your customers would have no choice than to leave your brand and then move on to another brand. In as much as you're the first person to enter into that niche, you're the pioneer, as it were. But because the other brands are being strategic, right? They've made the product better, they've made the price cheaper, and they are giving you more value such that your customers is going to leave them. So these are some of the disadvantages of being, what's the word now? Of being the first mover. All right. Now, for in your own business, right, what you could do is that it's either you're the first. If you're going to be the first in the particular industry, make sure that like your marketing strategy is on point. It is very, very crucial. You do not just move into an industry and then like start chanting that like, hey, I am the first, I am the first, I am the first. No, you're not the first because your marketing, yes, you're the first, but you will not be the first for long because your marketing is not right. But if you make sure that like your marketing strategy is great, right, then you have the larger share of the market for yourself. But if it is that like you're trying to like come up as the second runner up and then you want to take over the main player of the game, then make sure that like you're coming in from another angle, you're giving more value than the value of the original person, right? And your price has to come a bit lower than what it is. On this note, I have come to the end of today's episode. I hope you've been able to gain something tangible. As I always say, please like, subscribe, and share with your loved ones. Tell somebody about the show. If you're watching from Facebook, share. If you're watching from YouTube, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. My name remains Adams Luafimilajide, and as I always say, be the best God has created you to be. Have a great evening, and signing out, guys. Take care.